When you think of India's elections, your mind probably jumps straight to the politics, right? The massive rallies, the candidates, the political campaigns. But today, we are going to pull back the curtain on something else entirely, something far more complex, the incredible logistical machine that actually makes it all happen. People have called it the largest, most unforgiving supply chain operation on earth, and for good reason. It is not just a tagline. We are not talking about moving packages or products here. We are talking about moving the very foundation of democracy itself. The sheer scale of this thing is, well, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. It all starts with the voters. We are talking nearly 900 million eligible people. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's more than the entire population of the United States and European Union combined. And to serve that many voters, you need places for them to actually vote. So, the country sets up over 1 million polling stations dotting every single corner of the nation. And to get those million polling stations up and running, you need a staggering amount of equipment. We are looking at nearly 6 million electronic voting machines that have to be delivered, set up, and working perfectly on the day. And this right here is the most crucial part. In an operation this massive, you don't get a do over. There are no second chances. A single late delivery could mean an entire town doesn't get to vote. The margin for error is literally zero. So, how on earth do you even begin to pull this off? Welcome to the supply chain behind everything. I am Daksh, and we are going behind the scenes of the products, events, and experiences you love and witness to uncover the fascinating journey of how things reach you. Well, it all starts way before election day. The work kicks off months in advance with some of the most meticulous planning and forecasting you can imagine. Absolutely nothing is left to chance. The Election Commission forecasts the need for every single booth. They are analyzing voter rolls, looking at population density, digging into historical turnout data, and even running risk assessments for things like monsoons or heat waves that could mess with transport. Now, this isn't just a one and done delivery. They use this brilliant strategy called dynamic allocation. The machine that's used in an early phase of the election doesn't just go into storage. No way. It gets packed up and immediately redeployed, sometimes traveling clear across the country overnight to a place that's voting later. It's a system that's constantly in motion. So, it all comes down to this three-step protocol. First, you forecast the demand with pinpoint accuracy. Second, you allocate those machines dynamically, moving them where they need to go. And third, and this is so important, is the first level checking. This is where every single machine is tested by running mock polls, sometimes with 1,000 votes, all while representatives from the political parties are watching to make sure everything is completely flawless. Okay, so once the machines are checked and ready, the real action begins. We are talking about getting millions of these units across one of the most diverse and challenging landscapes on the planet, through scorching deserts, over Himalayan mountain passes, and across oceans. And they'll use whatever it takes to get them there. In the cities, you have got these armed convoys with live GPS tracking. For remote valleys in the Himalayas, the Indian Air Force is flying in helicopters. For island territories, hundreds of miles offshore, Navy ships are making the journey. And for that very last stretch, it might be a small boat, a mule, or even an elephant. Seriously, whatever it takes. Just think about the life of one of those machines. It might be used in an election in one part of the country. Then, that very same night, it's loaded into a secure convoy and travels 1,000 kilometers to a completely different state, arriving a full 72 hours early to be checked and prepped for another round of voting. It's like a non-stop, high-stakes relay race. And through this entire crazy journey, security is everything. A machine never travels alone. Every single handover is verified and signed for, and every convoy is being watched in real time from a central command center. The integrity of the process is just non-negotiable. Okay, so we have seen the huge macro level transport, but where the election really happens is at the micro level. So let's zoom all the way into that last mile, the challenge of turning a million different locations, schools, community centers, you name it, into fully functioning poll booths. So, let's just think about that for a second. What does it actually take to get just one of those 1 million booths up and running for a single day? Well, it's basically a full-scale micro operation. You've got the voting machine, of course, but you also need the indelible ink, all the voter forms, backup generators in case the power goes out, tables, chairs, proper lighting, and even food and water for the polling staff who are working incredibly long hours. Each booth has to be a totally self sufficient unit. And speaking of that backup power, they plan for everything. The battery inside every single voting machine is designed to run for more than 16 hours straight. That means even if the power grid for an entire town goes down, the voting keeps on going without a single interruption. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most critical part of this whole thing. This is about more than just moving boxes around. It's about securing every single vote and, more importantly, maintaining absolute public faith in a system that is built on trust that has to be earned. The moment the last vote is cast, the job is far from over. In fact, that's when the reverse supply chain kicks into high gear. This is the secure, immediate, and fully documented mission to get every single machine out of those polling booths and back to fortified storage rooms. And the security around this is like a fortress. It happens in three layers. First, right there at the polling station, the machines are sealed up in front of agents from all the political parties. Second, they are moved in those same secure convoys directly to storage. And third, they're kept in these strong rooms with 3 layers of security under 24/7 CCTV surveillance with party representatives allowed to keep watch. The system is also designed to plan for failure. For every 100 machines that are needed, they actually position an extra 10 to 15% nearby as ready to go spares. So if any unit glitches or has an issue on election day, a replacement is there and can be swapped in within minutes. Problems are neutralized before they can even start. And really, this whole entire thing is built on one core belief. You can't just ask for people's trust. You have to earn it. Every seal, every GPS tracking point, every signature, it's all designed to provide verifiable proof and to get ahead of any possible doubt. So, the next time you step into a polling booth, just take a second to look at that machine. It didn't just magically appear there. It is the final destination of an absolutely incredible journey. It survived one of the toughest, most demanding logistics network on the entire planet to get there. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. If a supply chain logistics network can solve the seemingly impossible problem of running a secure, transparent election for nearly 1 billion people, what other massive global challenges are just waiting for that same level of brilliant execution? If you enjoyed today's deep dive on Indian elections, a like, share, and subscribe to this channel would really help other supply chain nerds like us find the show. I'm Daksh, and this has been the supply chain behind everything.